Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wikimedia panel of experts. Now, you may be wondering why we have this panel of experts here up on the site. As some of you may know, there are a lot of protests going on out on the internet right now concerning the SOPA and PIPA bills, which are in the stages of being passed right now.
Some big white buildings.
Yes, big white buildings.
Happening.
People are making decisions about the fate of the internet, and so as a protest, some folks have decided to kind of go dark for the day, including Wikipedia, which is kind of a big resource for a lot of people, pretty critical thing. Reddit, bunch of other sites as well. So we are, I think, it's safe to say, staunchly against what SOPA and PIPA both represent, but we understand kind of the vacuum that is created by having these sites not there. So we've decided to fill that with our panel of experts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if there was something that you needed to see on Wikipedia today, if there was some sort of research you needed to do that you weren't able to do because of this blackout, give us a call, 415-508-3975, and our panel of experts here will give you the correct answer.
Definitive.
Jeff, what are you an expert in?
I'm a philatelist, and I'm ready to discuss any sort of philatel needs that anyone has.
How do you feel about phlebotomy?
It's I think it's an interesting field, but it's kind of junk science at this point, so I'm not really following it that closely. That said, I do know everything about it. So
fair enough. So Jeff Gerstmann here as an expert.
Hello.
Dave Snyder, what is your area of expertise?
I really understand sci-fi and fantasy literature really well, and I speak Sanskrit.
Fantastic. I believe we have.
We had a caller.
we had
I believe we have a caller. Or we had a caller, and I just want to round out before we get to that caller, though, our third and final expert, all the way here from West Philadelphia, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, my expertise is everything that has not been previously mentioned.
And of course,
Great.
you may notice that there is
Useful.
a fifth untaken seat here in the middle. That is for Jimmy Wales, who I understand is on the way.
Yeah.
He is supposed to be in transit, so if you have any questions for Jimmy specifically, please hold them until he arrives. But until then, we will be waiting for your calls. That number, as you can see on your screen, 415-508-3975. I will be keeping score of the answers from our panel of experts, and we will be telling those at the end to decide who is the expert-est.
So you're saying you're a fair and impartial judge of expertness in this panel of experts?
I'm going to have to dock you 5 points.
Oh, all
for that
right.
question.
I'm excited. Way to go. Already negative points for Smith. This is great.
It's like golf, right? Lowest score wins.
Yeah.
It's
It's Mad Magazine, the board game.
furthest under par.
You should know that, being an expert of everything other
Yeah.
than Sanskrit, fantasy novels, and whatever Jeff
phlebotomies.
said.
Yeah. Something about your nose.
All right, gentlemen, we have our first question. Our caller is Tony from San Francisco. Tony, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing great.
Tony, what is your question for the Wikimedia panel of experts?
I'm a big fan of the UK Top Gear show. I'm wondering how many episodes there are.
Okay, I'm going to say that probably falls under the Will Smith field of expertise.
Let's see. I think they're on 16 seasons, and in the UK they do about 4 to 12 episodes per season.
I believe they call them series.
Series is correct. That is a technical term, but
Negative 5 points
I
for
like
Will
to bring it into the American vernacular. San Franciscan caller.
But there's
San
also an
Franciscan
American.
Answers.
There's also an American Top Gear, so you don't
My
want to confuse
understanding,
the issue.
That was garbage, as I understand, and so we're not going to talk. We're talking about the UK version of Top Gear with the guy in the white suit and the hat. I'm gonna hazard a estimate of around.
That's what we call that, a hat.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a hat. It's a face
Protective. It's a
a
protective
protection hat. Yeah,
you,
exactly.
You can dance if you want to.
Can he leave his friends behind?
Exactly.
Yes.
172.
172
That's
episodes is
that's the
correct.
number.
10
Thank you,
points
sir.
for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, putting him at 0 points.
And if you don't like
Awesome.
that answer, look it up.
We have a website for stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Giant bomb.
Go
All
ahead
your Top
and
Gear needs.
please give us a call if you have more questions. As you can see, we have the answers that you're looking for, 415-508-3975.
Well, you're going to be getting all these, I feel.
Yeah, you
There's
guys might as well
no,
just go get a snack or something.
And it's another thing that Top Gear I know is famous for cars and driving and that sort of stuff, but not a lot of people know that it actually started with a nautical theme. It was meant to be boats, and they did the whole first season all boats, and kind of they had their their captain with the mask on, and he would captain the boats around their little kind of pond thing.
Interesting.
And it just wasn't working out for them. So they thought, like, let's take this to land. And once they did that, they kind of stumbled onto a formula that really worked out. Critical reception, once they started the second series, went way up.
Same story applies to Knight Rider, I believe.
Jeff, that is incorrect. 5 points to Jeff.
Great. Thank you.
Not too bad. I also believe rum is oftentimes called the Admiral's blood.
Yes.
From when what's the British guy?
Napoleon.
Richard Attenborough.
Yeah, when Richard Attenborough was in the Battle of Trafalgar, died, threw him in a cask. They tried to preserve him with rum.
Right.
So of
The
course,
Admiral's blood.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
And
Drinking,
now he
fascinating.
does
Yeah.
voiceover for PBS specials every year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, especially
congratulations.
ones with lions, which is why we're here.
Well, it's why the lion is called the king of the jungle.
Well, it's a personal
where-
appeal.
Clearly,
That's where this comes from. Yes.
The root of that.
yeah, and he's drunk all the time. That's why he sleeps all day long.
Indeed.
And that's why they call rum the drink of the jungle.
Fascinating facts.
Search queries, book reports. What are you expecting we're going to get?
If you've been looking on Twitter, there's definitely been an outcry of folks who are trying to do some sort of schoolwork. I don't know if you know this. School just started again here in the States for a lot of people. Just getting back for college and such. So the need to get back to researching stuff has just immediately hit. So I don't think the timing could be much worse for those people.
Can you source a live stream?
I can.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You use an AP style for sourcing and crediting. Gersman, Davis et al.
Lots of umlauts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly.
We have another caller for
Thank
the
goodness.
Whiskey Media panel of experts.
Great.
David from Indiana, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Who's your?
David from
Yes, I am.
David from Indiana, what is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
Well, I was kind of talking out of my butt last night to my stepdad and saying that there were a ton of professional sports blackouts, and I have no idea. And he looked it up. Now I can't look it up to see how right I was, but he said I was right. There were a lot more than he thought there was. Can you guys tell me at least, probably just like, you don't have to put hockey in there if you don't want to, but just like major league strikes for professional sporting events, and when did they happen, if you have any idea?
So just to clarify, David, you're asking about player strikes that have occurred in professional sports.
Yes.
I've got a real answer to this.
Do you want that rounded to just the United States, North America? Is there a specific time frame
Probably
you're
that
looking
would be
for?
enough.
Just not hockey, I believe.
Well, we're talking about sports.
Yeah, he said
so
no
we won't-
hockey.
We wouldn't
Yeah.
include that, obviously. It's like we're not going to include milk drinking in this
Sure.
because
You
it's
think
not a
you
sport,
can't drink
it's
a
an art.
gallon
so,
of milk?
David Snyder, you seem to be chomping at the bit to answer this. How many player strikes have there been in professional sports in the United States? Let's say between the 20th and 21st century.
Well, I don't. I know of at least one that I can think of, which
Okay.
was 87.
The XFL strike?
No, football. Which
The
was
XFL.
the XFL.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
a big strike. They had a labor dispute 3 weeks
did.
after they founded the league, and really put a kind of shadow over the entire procedure.
It really did, and they never really fully recovered. It turns out a lot of the players thought that the games were going to be predetermined outcomes, and that it was more of an acting gig.
Well, it's because they
But,
hired a bunch of wrestlers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it went a little south for them. There was the big penny pitching scandal in 1817 that led to the 1818 season being canceled.
We're talking about 20th century outages
oh,
here. sir.
and not
okay.
hockey.
Oh, sorry. All right.
I'm sorry,
I
but
didn't
you're not a
realize.
timetable expert, Will Smith. Negative 5 points for Will.
Great, thank you.
in the hole.
Also, for Jeff, has there been any wrestling strikeouts that you can remember?
Oh, there was the Keanu Reeves movie that was made about that subject.
Yeah, there was where he played the Brooklyn Brawler, and then his was a whole baseball motif, and he struck out all the time.
Great mustache.
So
Great
I believe the
mustache.
correct answer then is 1. It was the XFL in 1817. So, David, thank you for calling.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Another satisfied customer.
Great.
If you need answers, we have them here for you. Give us a call. The Whiskey Media panel of experts, 415-508-3975. You don't need Wikipedia. You just need us. We have everything that you need right here.
Where there's vacuum, we see opportunity. And,
Absolutely.
There's at least 4.5 years of collegiate study at this table.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school for 5 years.
5.5 years of collegiate study.
Yeah.
Well learned.
I don't know about that.
School learning.
That's right.
Yeah.
I took some classes twice. I liked them so much.
There were some books that I've read 3 or 4 times.
Can you cite any examples, Jeff?
Sweet Valley High #7.
There was
The Complete Doonesbury.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've probably
Good
read
book.
6 or 7 times.
State by State with the State.
State by State with the State. I've read at least 12 times.
Pimp by Iceberg Slim.
Pimp by Iceberg Slim. I read 1/2 times.
Did you read the first half or the last half?
I've read
or
the
middle
last half. That seemed like it would be the more interesting part.
Don't want to
where
hear about the childhood?
No,
Just the hats.
Just the pimping.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, we have, I believe, Alex from New Hampshire on the line. Alex,
Hello.
how are you today?
Good.
How has the SOPA PIPA strikeout blackout been affecting you today?
Surprisingly, actually, you don't notice how much you just kind of type something random into Google and then just to look up something on Wikipedia and then just for that little bit of information and move along with your day. But then when it's not there, you actually kind of notice it more than you do. So
how many times did you absentmindedly end up at Wikipedia and then go, oh, it's black, I can't get the answers that I need?
probably 3 or 4 times, actually. But there's one subject that I particularly wanted to know more about. But
well, hold on. Before you get to that, I wanted to ask you a follow-up questions. How many times did that happen with a Whiskey Media property today? The answer is 0, Alex.
0, yeah.
0 times did Whiskey Media fail to deliver for you today on the most important day of the year. Go ahead with your question, please.
The Bombcast had a long discussion about forms of currency, and listening to it last night, the SOPA blackout was already in effect. So I wanted to know more about Bitcoins. What are Bitcoins?
Okay, I'm going to throw this down to our electronic currency expert, Will Smith, at the end of the table. Can you please explain to Alex about Bitcoins?
It's my understanding that Bitcoins are dumb, Ryan.
So there you go, Alex. Bitcoins are dumb.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to follow up on that with actual information? Negative 10 points to Will Smith for that.
Primarily available for purchasing drugs over the internet or sandwiches in San Francisco, as I understand.
Really, you can get sandwiches with Bitcoins?
Yes, yes,
Fascinating.
Bitcoin sandwiches. And if you want Bitcoins, basically you sign up for an EVE Online account, and then if you join the right corporation, there's a hole there. They're basically mining for Bitcoins, and you can get a hold of these Bitcoins and put them into your e-wallet, and then send secure anonymous transactions around the internet for use, and like I said, drugs, San Francisco sandwiches.
Now, I am not an expert, but I just did want to add in my 2 cents here. Not a lot of folks know this about Bitcoins, but 1 penny from every Bitcoin goes to Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
So another great reason not to use Bitcoins.
That's true. Unless, well, I mean, she is looking to fund a sequel. She's funding it herself, Jumping Jack Flash 2. They're trying to make that happen, and I support that. That's something that I would love to see.
Susie Orman, I believe, is the executive producer on that.
It makes perfect sense.
She's a woman who really knows how to use her money, and that sounds like a winner.
Mm-hmm.
I put all my Bitcoins toward actually Sister Act 3, which I think is a superior Whoopi Goldberg movie.
Wasn't
She
there
wears a
actually a
habit.
Sister Act 3?
No, there's just 2.
Just
Negative 10
Just 2?
points.
I said,
Damn it!
We want Sister Act 3. We need Sister Act 3. It would help us get us through this dark time with no Wikipedia, no Reddit.
So, Alex, in summary, Bitcoin sandwiches, drugs, Whoopi Goldberg, and Bangsy blonde hair.
Perfect.
Thanks for your call.
Great.
Bangsy
All right.
blonde hair.
Yeah, Bangsy blonde hair.
What do you think her color is? Or what color is her hair naturally, you think?
Susie Orman?
Yeah. I don't think she's a blonde.
You don't think she's a blonde? I think
Nah,
she's probably like a
like a Sandy.
like a dirtier blonde.
Like a Sandy.
Yeah, a little Sandy.
blonde,
A little
something
Sandy.
Like this.
Maybe a little strawberry.
She wishes she was a Sandy.
Maybe a little strawberry.
415-508-3975 is the number. Whiskey Media, if you're on Skype, so international callers, if you want to get through without paying those ridiculous overseas charges.
Is there a
that's
symbol
a good end
for the
around
Bitcoin?
there.
Do they have like their own symbol?
It's a B with a dollar sign through it.
The line.
Yeah. I heard about Bitcoin first and thought it was a joke. And then Andy came up and was like, hey, have you heard about this Bitcoin thing? You can mine for Bitcoins. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of just tuned out for a little while while he was talking about
join
that.
a mining crew. And mine
Currency
for
went
Bitcoins.
completely down, and then recently I think it's made a little bit of a comeback, but nowhere near
Fake
what it used to be.
currencies haven't really taken off that well so far.
Well, I'm just still trying to figure out what the appropriate beans to flues conversion rates are. And that's something that...
Will Smith, what is your favorite e-currency?
I think Wuffy is my favorite e-currency. It's a measure of social status from, I think, a Cory Doctorow book, which is on topic since he ate SOPA more than anyone else.
I've always been a Zenny man myself.
Well,
They do let you wear the cape if you have the most credits.
really?
So-
Yeah.
We have another caller, gentlemen.
wanna wear a cape?
Put on your expert hats. It's Ryan from Indiana. Ryan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
With all the Hoosiers.
I don't know, but we're Indiana representing hard here today. Is there just does life in Indiana just leave you with a lot of questions?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's kind of cold outside, so we're all inside.
So
We're all inside.
We're all inside as well. Even this line behind us. What is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts, Ryan?
I want to ask Will, what is the lyrics?
Ryan,
of
I'm just gonna have to
Prince of
stop.
Bel-Air?
Ryan, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. You do not get to choose which expert answers your question is based on their areas of expertise.
All right.
So, what is your question for the entire panel of Whiskey Media
For
experts?
the entire panel, what are the lyrics to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song?
I believe I'm going to have to kick that down to Will Smith at the end of the table.
I've never
here.
heard that song before. I'm sorry. It's outside of my areas of expertise, but I think it's closer to science fiction than anything else, Ryan. I think that's probably minus 300 points, if my math is right. For
Negative
me.
20 points for Will Smith.
Great.
Oh, come on. Come on, Will.
Any
Born and raised.
This is a story.
Playgrounds,
I don't know.
something?
Something I spent most of my days. I remember singing this on Oktobercast, but there were lyrics in front of me from Wikipedia, and without lyrics from Wikipedia,
the experts.
All I've got is I could sing Power.
Chilling
probably.
out, Max.
We listened to a lot
Relaxing
of Power
all cool.
in Vegas last week.
well,
What are you
Ryan,
good for, Will?
Ryan, I'm afraid that we
Playing
may have come up
hockey,
short on this
scoring
one. I can't give you
Curling.
some.
It's about curling,
I can
right?
give you a fun fact about the opening to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, though, which is that the cab driver to which Will Smith says "Yo home, smell you later" is in fact Quincy Jones.
Really?
Fun fact.
I'll
It's
also
the
give
key.
you a fun fact about Indiana. Hoosier is actually for people who would knock on the door and say, "Who's there?"
So
They got shortened.
It was a greeting.
Yeah,
That's a terrible story.
that's true.
True fact about Indiana.
Okay,
fact.
good to know.
Better
Indiana.
than what
You'll
you had,
never
Will.
know.
I drove through Indiana once.
Even the
Very
callers breaking you down, Will.
I got nothing. I maybe I am the expert on everything but the things that I said I was an expert on before.
But the
I'm still waiting for you to be an expert on anything.
That's
Yeah,
probably
expert.
a good point.
All right, we're going to cut Ryan off. Thank you so much for your call, Ryan. Even callers outside of Indiana can reach us here at this number, 415-508-3975. Whiskey Media is the username on Skype. I think if there had been other Will Smith songs requested, I think it might have been
like Summertime.
easier to find lyrics to that.
Wild Wild West is a quality song, but I always go back to the Kool Mo D original.
Kool Mo D,
I think
the
that's
original
just
is-
a superior song.
Yeah.
Kool Mo D, of course, did put out a book where the top lyricists of hip hop and rap music were ranked by Kool Mo D.
And who was Kool Mo D's number one lyricist?
I'm not
believe it
going
was
to
Kool
spoil
Mo
that,
D.
but I am going to say it is not Kool Mo D.
Did Kool Mo D put himself on his
He
list?
did, in fact, put himself on his own list, but
How
he
high?
was humble enough to leave himself in just the top 5 or so, as opposed to giving himself number 1, which I
didn't
think
know
is
that.
something you can really appreciate the integrity of Mr. Modi.
Well, not a lot of people know this, but the Mo is actually short for Mosif
Yeah.
in Kool Mo D.
Yes.
And the D for Dillinger.
One of the things that's fascinating about people who fly to Miami is that every single time they land an airplane in Miami, everybody on the plane tweets at me and says, "Welcome to Miami, pound summertime at Will Smith." Because they all want to let
Well,
me
that doesn't
know
make any sense because
that
those
they're
are two
landing in
different.
Miami.
That's they don't talk about Miami in summertime
I
at all.
don't know why they do this. They always go together.
But it's
I think it's because
consistently-
it's warm in Miami. Happens alarming regularity.
It's not even summertime right now either.
I know. Well, in Miami, it's always summertime.
I always think
Somewhere
of
it's summertime.
that the Will Smith Miami connection has been broken for me by that I'm in Miami trick song. Or I'm in Miami bitch
So you're saying
song.
that's the dominant Miami-based
that
song
is,
now?
that has replaced it.
All right, 10 points
I
for Jeff
support that.
Gerstmann.
Yes. So if you have the Twitter name bitch, you're probably pretty bummed out about that because you're probably getting a lot of the same.
Send that person a message right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Follow the guy
Miami.
with the license plate drunk the other day.
Really?
You actually saw the.
I
Two
followed
N's?
him. I sold him a bike.
Really?
Drunk. DRUNK.
That seems like a really unwise license plate deal.
Oh, I've seen that guy.
And he was driving down Highway 1, which made it even better.
Yeah.
Because it's a windy, you
Yeah.
know.
Was he weaving?
Was
it's
he
like
over the
this.
line at all?
Yeah.
Was it-
No, he was doing pretty good.
Was he drunk?
Not drunk.
Okay.
Seemed kind of straight edge. I think it was more of a challenge.
Like
Like, pull
hey,
me over.
Try it.
Yeah, go for it, copper.
cut
Hiding
you.
in plain
Yeah.
sight. It's a viable tactic in the animal kingdom as well as when driving a vehicle.
We have another hungry mind for the Whiskey Media panel of experts. We have Charles on the line. Charles,
Hi,
could you do me a favor and tell me where you're calling from?
I'm calling from North Carolina,
North Carolina. Whereabouts in Kakalaki
The
are
show
you
me
calling
state.
from?
Spring Lake.
That's right, the Show Me State. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
Charles from Spring Lake, North Kakalaki. What is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
In general, I was wanting to know more about the life and early career of Steven Soderbergh.
Life and early career of Steven Soderbergh. I'm going to throw this to Dave Snyder.
The early career.
Early career.
He used to do television work, I think. I believe he started.
Well, he was one of the executive producers of the Golden Girls originally, but was basically run out of the show by the others before the first episode aired. So he's never been given credit for.
There was
for any of
also
his
a
work
real
there.
fear there that like everybody was going to die in those early seasons, and so he looked at it like a career move.
That's
like,
actually-
I need to get out of this business because this show will not be on the air very long. I need to get started on something else.
That's actually why he was ejected, is because he was constantly threatening to murder the principals of the Golden Girls, which it turned out was not good for set.
And it was interesting because from there he actually went on to work on Muppet Babies, thinking that babies right in the title, these would be young, but then little did he know that
All of the
that
voice
was
actors.
an animated series. All of the
But
voice
he
actors,
also-
incredibly old. Barbara Billingsley, of course, no longer with us.
He did spin off Golden Girls into the Empty Nest stuff, which starred the Zuzu guy.
Not a lot of people know that he is the brother-in-law of Joe Zuzu, which is how he got that job.
Yeah,
And
Christine
his-
Zuzu.
In fact,
Yeah.
his name is Stephen Azuzu.
He just
He just
took on
changed the
on
name.
Soderbergh
Yeah.
for purposes, and then he went and made a movie about James Spader jacking off, and the rest is history. So Charles, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Getting a lot of good information out there for folks, letting them know
That's right.
I never knew that.
what's really going
Yeah.
on.
Never knew about
Yeah.
the Muppet Babies thing. That's
Yeah.
it's a kind of a secret in the
Well,
life of Steven
it's
Soderbergh.
obviously it's not something he's out there talking about a lot because he has kind of made his bones and gone on to
Have
bigger
you noticed
and
how
better
hard
things,
it is
but-
to get an episode of Muppet Babies now?
Yeah,
It's
he's
true.
just got a vault. He just got a vault.
Well, that's where he met Clooney, because wasn't Clooney the original voice of Gonzo
Yes.
on the Muppet Babies?
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
same reason why Muppet Babies will never be available on Blu-ray, on DVD, any disc-based media, because Steven Soderbergh loathes discs.
Just
Yeah.
like Bill Cosby and The Cosby Show.
Yes, VHS tapes only, and then
But not
online
the Cosby
distribution.
Show. The Cosby Show's there. It's Bill Cosby and the Cosby Show,
Yeah.
never on disc.
Well,
But
they,
the
they had, to,
Cosby
they had
Show-
to digitally remove Bill Cosby from every episode of The Cosby Show before they could put it out in any sort of disc-based
There were
media.
licensing talks that they were going through for a long time to try and insert Fat Albert digitally into these scenes to replace Bill Cosby, but unfortunately the technology just wasn't ready. It's something that they have been looking to return to, and I think that they will eventually get there, but they haven't gotten there yet.
And again, not a lot of people know this, but every iteration of the Cosby Show theme song was actually written by Bill Cosby in his sleep. But Bill Cosby is not aware of this, so nobody tell him.
And the whole intro to the Cosby Show, I know a lot of people think that's Bill Cosby in there, but they've digitally put him in there. Quincy Jones originally did all that work.
Well, we have Ferdinand from Ontario, Canada on the line. Ferdinand,
Hello.
Do you have is there a shorter name that we can use than Ferdinand? That's too many syllables.
Some people call me Ferdy.
Ferdy? And you allow that to pass?
Girls say it sometimes.
Okay.
Do they sometimes go on to then say you're Ferdelicious? And how do you react to that when it happens?
I would probably punch them in the mouth.
Fantastic.
Have you ever been in the Black Eyed Peas?
No,
Good.
sadly.
Good answer.
All right.
Not yet. Soon we all will be.
All right, Ferdinand, what is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
Well, apparently Bulbapedia is also down too. Pokemon Wikipedia, basically. And I need to know as much information as I can about Professor Oak.
Questions about Professor Oak. I'm going to have to throw this down to Will Smith at the end of the table, our resident oakologist. Will, just give him the full. I mean, let's start PhD, and I guess work our way forward from there.
Well, as a young acorn, Professor Oak went to Pokemon College, then Pokemon Medical School, and finally to Pokemon Mad Scientist Academy, where he raised Geohot and what's the little yellow guy with the wings? I can't remember his name.
Oh, it's Bulbasaur is what you're thinking.
Bulbasaur is exactly it.
I believe actually it's Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, Dustin Hoffman is also
that's the Latin.
That's
the
when he
Latin.
evolves, right? Yeah. And so after years in Pokemon Evil Doctor Medical School,
That was when he was friends with Laurence Olivier.
exactly,
Yeah.
and Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah,
Real
people
Dustin
didn't know
Hoffman,
that.
though.
Like Tommy Lee Jones played, he was a right guard on the football team.
And it's why you saw all those
Interesting.
like gossip, gossip newspaper articles and stuff about them going out on the town and just getting trashed. They eventually had to replace Professor Oak's liver with basically it's like a hollowed out rock. That they have put in place. And
Squirrels live there now.
It's filled with like an old honeycomb that filters whatever goes through it, and he can drink like a fish. I don't know, just seems like a pretty solid innovation to me. But you don't see a lot of other operations along those lines happening.
How many badges does Dr. Oak have now?
6.
Professor Oak actually doesn't have any.
No badges.
That's he made all of his badges that he has.
But he made 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, fun fact, a little bit of trivia about Professor Oak. He invented the paperclip, holds the patent on it, so every single paperclip, he gets paid.
Yep.
The traditional squiggly Q kind or the pinchy kind?
Yep.
Okay, good to
Yep.
know.
That's why he's got the underground layer that he lives in.
That's why they had to take
Starts the
Clippy out
saplings.
of Microsoft Word because Professor Oak wanted too much money as a licensing fee for them to use the visage of a paperclip.
Famous paperclips suffering around the
Well,
world.
it was the
because of Professor
tie,
Oak.
I think, more than anything else.
Yeah,
Is
that'll
it
do
a bow
it.
tie or a tie?
It was a long tie, I believe.
Is that the official name of a long tie?
A
tie
long
tie?
tie?
A tie
Or
tie or a long tie? What's the proper name for a tie?
Tie tie
It's
is
not a bow tie.
it's a South African dish that you eat with your hands.
Is there some sort of bread
Tie tie.
involved?
There's
Some beans and
peanuts in it.
bread?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love peanuts.
There's a peanut sauce. It's a Mai Tai with peanut sauce poured in.
It sounds really, really phenomenally gross.
It's it's an acquired taste.
Okay.
But once you get into it, it's I've had worse.
So Ferdinand, hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it really did.
Thank you so much
Great.
for your call. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So many questions being answered here by the Whiskey Media panel of experts. Why don't you have one of yours? 415-508-3975 is the number.
That line
Whiskey
is-
Media on Skype.
Scaring the hell out of me.
I think
What
we
lion?
should probably try to look authoritative. Like
Yeah,
I don't feel
You don't
fear.
want to scare him. Yeah.
I don't feel fear.
Accept the power that the lion behind you is trying to impart.
They are the accountants of the jungle.
yes,
Interesting.
They, they balance the books.
elaborate spreadsheet-like things with streams and fields and stuff.
Well, it's why lion tamers use a stool to try and control the lions because it's the natural habitat of the lion. That's where it wants to be, is in a chair
In
with
front of
an adding machine.
Yeah.
That was
Crunching numbers.
That was shown very heavily in Hemingway's third novel, talking about his, African Saharas.
The Lion King.
Yeah, the Lion King.
Circle of life. Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
when they
Under
say
the sea.
when they say Simba, like up Simba. Simba is actually the name of the software package that they use to do a lot of their accounting.
It was an early
Which Ernest
spreadsheet.
Hemingway
it was
invented.
Lotus 1, 2,
early
3 had the
spreadsheet, yeah.
turtle. Simba had a lion as the cursor instead of
Yeah.
the turtle. It was,
Yeah.
It's an
fascinating bit of
old
software history.
Salesforce company.
But Xerox PARC basically shut all of that down. It just kind of wasted that research and here we are today. Facebook.
Turns out it's all toner paper, toner powder.
Yeah.
Stuff everywhere. That's all they were doing. All the inventing of the mouse, all the inventing of the cat, all that came out of that was toner.
Well, in
and
addition to
paper.
being highly toxic, toner powder it will also get you extremely high.
Yeah.
So the Xerox
Interesting.
PARC people were pretty much out of their gourds on toner dust
Goofballs.
24/7.
Only when you use it with cough syrup, though, I think.
Like a Robitussin or a NyQuil?
Specifically grape.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Just
like a
grape
Dimetap.
flavor,
Yeah.
not okay.
Dimetap,
Yeah, it has nothing
mix
to do
the
with
toner
the
in there
actual
with the
type.
It's the actual
and the
flavor. It's the grape
chemicals.
flavoring,
Yeah.
not the cough syrup itself.
Yeah.
That
Pour it onto a
activates.
cookie sheet and then put the cookie sheet into an oven
needs to
until
be
it dries to like a kind of a powdery, flaky
Okay.
dust, and
You
then
need
you
a
can
boiling
kind of
flask?
take that down and crumble it up into tiny rocks or something along those lines, and then from there like a freebase method can be used.
So we have Whitney on the line. Whitney, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Whitney Gatler.
Whitney, I believe you are from Virginia.
That is correct.
Whitney, what is
The
your
show me
question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
That's incorrect, Will Smith. By the way.
Nothing we say is incorrect, sir.
We are
My
experts.
Do not engage the Whiskey Media panel of experts directly, Whitney. What is your question?
What's the capital of Norway?
Capital of Norway. I'm going to throw this down to Will Smith at the end of the table.
Scandinavia, Ryan.
Scandinavia is
Scandinavia.
correct.
Everybody knew that.
Yeah, that's easy
Whitney,
stuff.
thank you for your call.
I appreciate it.
18th century, though, Flavenflargen.
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 Yeah.
It's where the Dutch kings used to live when they had inhabited the throne of Isenthorpe.
They have the annual running of the penguins there now.
I believe so.
Flavenflargen.
Yeah.
And then it burned to the ground, and they had to rebuild it. So, faced with the choice of, rebuilding their entire capital city and really kind of trying to make it be about something else other than just like the memory of all these dead kings, they decided to just change the name to Scandinavia and went from there.
I believe that they called it the re-Flavenflargening when they had to rebuild the burnt down city. Of
yeah.
Well, it's the
Flavenflargen.
Gilded Age. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely for sure.
And that's how we got Isengard.
Well, they're bringing the
Absolutely.
hobbits to Isengard. That's
Yeah.
what I heard.
Yeah.
All forms of metallurgy come from, the earliest forms come out of there.
Well, it's all
also
dwarf technology, is my
Heavy
understanding.
metal was invented
Band-Aids.
there. Yeah.
Band-Aids also came
Original
out.
home of Julie Strain.
Now, here's a fun fact that a lot of folks might not know. The Swedish chef from the Muppets,
Borky
Yeah.
Bork.
actually Japanese.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all makeup and
He's blue,
affectations.
in fact.
Well, he's a method actor.
He spent time in Scandinavia?
Never has spent a minute
Wow.
of his life outside of Japan. Every one of those shots is a location shot.
Such
so.
amazing technique with the herrings, though.
Yeah. And those have to be imported fresh. You can't can those
No.
and have the same effect.
And kind of a weird thing, he's also not a chef. A lot of that stuff,
Also,
they
did
kind
you
of
ever
bring
see him
emotions.
cook?
They'll
I never saw him cook.
digitally insert, the kind of chef stuff around
they're
him.
felt rendering
He's
technology.
usually wearing like a motion capture suit, and when he is not playing a cook, he sometimes will do capture work for other, CGI animated features.
He's got a new
interactive
show
Services
coming with
protege?
Mike
Yeah,
Rowe.
yeah.
He and Mike Rowe are working together.
We have another hungry mind waiting to be filled to the absolute brim. We have Joe from Devon, England. Joe, are you there?
Hello there.
Joe, how are you doing?
How are you? I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
We're doing fantastic, even with a little bit of a delay. Joe, what is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
Well, I was wondering, does anything eat wasps?
Does anything eat wasps? I think I'm going to have to throw this to, yes, Will Smith at the end of the table here. Wasp predators, what are they?
The Northern Irish blue-footed wasp eater is a bird in the booby family. It's a shorebird. Obviously, does not eat wasps, despite the fact that it says it's a wasp eater in its name. Wasps are inedible by everything. They're nature's kryptonite.
That is incorrect, but I believe that you believed it. So 10 points to Will Smith.
Yes.
Fair enough. That will help me with my biology university degree.
Great. Yes, you should write a paper about that. Actually, the blue-footed Northern Irish.
I thought we were
wasp
talking
eating.
about
Yeah.
white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
I thought we were talking about the band Wasp.
Wasp.
There's many wasps.
The band wasps.
they were killed out
there
by
are a lot
rat.
of things. Yeah, rat
Yeah.
hate them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
Well,
you want
the
to know
band
what
rat,
can eat
yeah.
the
the
band
band
wasp.
Striper,
Yeah.
all predators of
White
Wasp.
Lion.
White
also
Lion. Oh, yeah.
trouble
yeah.
for the band
So
Wasp.
Elizabeth Taylor's short-lived hair metal band.
Right.
Yeah, White Lion. So, Joe, you can go ahead and continue writing your term paper with this information in hand
that you were interested in.
Thank you very much.
Think
Thank
of
you so
that
much.
as a disambiguity. What's the?
It's a
term?
disambiguation page.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the words.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Words. This is the words end
There's
of the
many
table.
wasps that you could have.
Indeed. So, Joe, there you go. Thank you so much for your call. If you have questions,
That'll come my way.
If you have questions, we have answers. 415-508-3975. The Whiskey Media panel of experts are here to let you know what Wikipedia refuses to let you know today.
They took the information away, Ryan.
They are
We
keeping
are
the
putting
information
it back.
out of your hands.
We are putting it back out there.
I saved it on a CD last night.
It's 32 gigs.
Yeah,
it's a big CD.
It's in there.
Okay.
It took a long time. It was 2-time writing speed. So
Okay.
I was there all night.
You could have just borrowed my copy of Encarta 95.
I didn't need it. I just didn't need it. It's not a reputable source for me.
You don't trust Microsoft?
Who's Microsoft?
Yeah, Microsoft. They make small software.
Oh, yeah. No, they got too small.
Okay.
I liked them a lot better when they were a bigger company.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to put those really tiny. You have to have the right size CD drive to put those little tiny discs into them. And I don't know about yours. Mine has that hole in the middle. I try to put it in, and it just drops right through.
Well, that's why they make the adapters, and you can take these adapters and take the small software and put them into the adapters to make them seem like larger software. And a lot of those adapters are actually taken out of some of the first surfboards that were made. Surfboards, of course, used to not be the shape that you know them as today. Used to be more circular, closer to an actual circle.
They called it a wave donut.
And when you lose your data, that's why you call it waxed.
Yeah.
You've waxed your data.
And that's why they call it surfing the internet.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
We have another call. Luca on the line. Luca, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Are you on the second floor?
Yes, I am.
And where are you calling from?
Garden Grove, California.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Garden Grove, California.
Beautiful. Garden Grove, California.
GG.
What is your
GG.
What is your question for the panel of experts?
Yes, I'm building a fan site for James Avery. He played Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I need to know his shoe size.
James Avery's shoe size. Well, very clearly this question has to, go to Will Smith at the end of the table. Your Fresh Prince of Bel-Air co-star's shoe size, James Avery. Luca, real quick, just want to confirm, we're talking in American sizes?
American, yes, please.
Okay, so disregard European, Japanese, UK. We're looking for American standard size shoe. James Avery. Will Smith, go ahead.
So the interesting thing about James Avery, Papa Avery is what his friends call him.
Yeah.
Because kind of a jovial, friendly-looking man. Very large feet. Very, very narrow. So he's a 14 double A.
Ooh, 14 double A.
14 double A. It's
Wow,
a very hard
that
to
is-
find shoe size.
that is.
Pretty much limited to New Balance and shoes made in Italy.
That's why they called him the Spear.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Old Spearfoot.
Yeah.
Spearfoot. Papa Spearfoot.
Yeah.
He once ruptured an entire football trying to kick the
Just
winning
impaled
field
it on
goal.
his toe.
Yeah.
That's
It's
why he was
amazing.
banned from all league play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That is
just
correct.
and not just in football. All league play.
All league play. Not allowed.
No curling.
So there you go, Luca.
The human cleat.
14 AA. James Avery's
He was a scab on that team. in
Standard
1819.
American shoe size.
He crossed the picket lines, and a lot of people never forgave him for that, and it's why he had to eventually get into acting. Not because he was shut out of professional sports, but because he was trying to live this lie where he was telling them, I was only acting when I crossed the picket line. They never bought it, but his acting career took off just the same, and it's worked out quite well for him.
And actually, that stage of his life is where the character of the Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came from, and his voice acting that character actually just was happenstance after the fact. He had already gotten his acting career up and running at that point, and they figured it made sense, and he was just the best one for the role. So
Interesting.
take those nuggets of wisdom, Luca, and go back to your James Avery fan site, and best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
He never liked being called a mutant. And the Shredder thing, I think, only made it, more so.
No. 415-508-3975 is the phone number. Give us a call. We will give you answers to the questions that you have. You trying to write a book report, term paper, just have a random question.
Are you in a bar right now?
You're trying to settle
something, and you don't want a robot arm, and bother your friends. Maybe it's just pub night.
Dave, I
trivia
know
night. At
Trivia
your
night,
local
yeah,
pub.
I got all that stuff.
I know you're an aficionado of the bee beard.
The bee beard.
Do you know about the largest bee beard ever made?
The bee beard. You're talking about the
beard,
beard.
Beard of bees.
The beard? No, that's the bee beard. I was talking about bee like.
Oh, you're talking about the beards.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Because
it's a
everybody's
pronunciation
got-
thing.
yeah.
It's spelled the same, but there's an apostrophe.
I have no interest in beards.
From the science side, you've
Yes.
got an A or a B beard.
Yes.
So people are you're a AB
Yes.
type beard
Because of the depth and the curve of
right.
the top
some
cheek
people are
portion.
just bee beards.
You can donate your beard to anyone, but
It's
you
true.
can only accept beards from other AB beards.
If I need a beard infusion.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting. Good to know.
O beards are what they're actually really looking for.
I'm an O beard. But it doesn't grow in too well, so I'm worried that my
More like a no beard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's ironic due to the lack of Irish heritage. Not many outside of Ireland have O beards.
Snyder, traditional, Gaelic name.
It's also because of the snakes.
And
the
mostly
snakes.
the snakes.
Yeah, watch out for snakes.
Please give us a call, 415-508-3975. If you're on Skype, Whiskey Media is the username. We're going to be here for at least a little while longer.
Yeah.
To answer.
We can solve your book reports about whatever you got. Breakfast cereal, if you need to know how many variants of Cheerios have been created over the years.
How many variants of Cheerios have there been created over the years?
There's 17.
17 variants.
Can you name them?
There's Cheerios. There's Honey Nut Cheerios. There's Frosted Cheerios. There's the All Chocolate Cheerios. There's the Chocolate and Strawberry Cheerios. There was the weird crossover where they did Cheerios with Crunch Berries. And then the rest of them were all regional. It was actually all
Pumpernickel.
just regular
Chitlin Cheerios
Yeah.
and
those are all unofficial
Okay.
and not actual Cheerios. Those were kind of sub brand. These were just regional based on just like local college football teams. Just the boxes changed to
the Volio.
There was also the
caviar.
pill
Yes.
form.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
antidepressant. Cheerios.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
That gets out of the breakfast
just in
cereal
Baltimore
realm,
for
but yeah.
Orioles fans.
I remember
Yeah, those were the Oreos.
Yeah.
For a while, we had the Cheerwinios, which was kind of ill-fated. You're supposed to pour soda in on top of them, which seems like it would be a great idea, but
Yeah,
actually turns out
it's-
real gross.
It works out. It's
Yeah.
you kind of have to have been drinking already for that
pretty foul.
to work. And
Yeah.
Cheer wine, despite the
Ryan,
name,
what's
not
happening?
actual wine, which is unfortunate.
No, nor is it particularly cheery. It's just
No.
kind of, it tastes like sweet.
Yeah.
Is the predominant flavor there.
It's like a grenadine soda.
Speaking of cheer wine
Ugh.
and toughness, we have Bronson from Kentucky on the line.
Great.
Bronson,
Hi.
how are you doing today, sir?
Pretty good.
How is life without Wikipedia and the myriad other sites that are currently blacked out because of the Sopa Pipa protest?
Oh man, it's been pretty rough.
What are you doing to cope?
I am on Whiskey Media.
That is the correct answer. What is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts? 10 points to Bronson.
Well, I was just curious if you guys happen to know when they were going to release Wall Street Kid Online and who was developing and publishing that.
All right, so we're looking for Wall Street Kid Online information. Will Smith, go ahead.
We have nothing to announce at this time, unfortunately.
I think it's being blocked by Oliver Stone. He really didn't want to get in the, into the sort of secondary market of Wall Street. He
Well,
thought,
yeah.
after
he
the
had-
second one,
he-
it just
he had
didn't get
such-
received as well. He just didn't like where the brand was going.
He had such fundamental involvement in the original Wall Street Kid, and was kind of put into a figurehead position for Wall Street Kid Online, but he still had a majority stake in the company. So he was able to basically block further development.
And
from
Charlie Sheen just really, I think everybody knows Charlie Sheen hasn't been where he's supposed to
Right.
be.
It's why he came out
He's
recently.
had a rough year.
Yeah, he came out and had his little press conference for where he said, "I'm not crazy anymore." That was really a last-ditch attempt to get Wall Street Kid Online back on track. But between kind of some trouble at the top, and a lot of the developers are being poached away to work on different other projects. It's
Funnily enough, from Main Street Kid, rival game.
It's, it's a sort of a whole class war game developer situation going on. We're not likely to see it on this generation of technology. It's something that maybe they'll circle back around in 5 or 10 years, and we'll see. But at this point, I would say don't get your hopes up. It's probably not going to happen.
It's probably. I mean, really, it's honestly just too ambitious for what the current hardware can do.
Yeah,
like what they're trying to perform.
Trip Hawkins' new platform might,
the 40O.
Yeah, it could be the place where a game like Wall Street Kid can sort of spread its wings. But you just really don't know.
So, Bronson, sorry for the bad news about Wall Street Kid Online, but thank you for your call, sir.
All right, thanks.
It's a shame about that. It's one of those things that they made the announcement, and I think a lot of people got very excited about it, but just immediately.
That's why you don't announce too early.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Post-TARP world is a rough place for Wall Street Kid to be.
Right.
I mean, you got to dodge the 99% people on the way out of the office.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of quests around.
And there's art imitating life right there. That is exactly what happened with the Main Street Wall Street rivalry there. The 99% really did. Put one
I'd
over
say
on them.
occupy your local video game retailer and demand satisfaction and see where that gets you.
Torches and pitchforks?
Yeah, that always the answer.
Okay.
I'm an expert, so I think I know a thing or two about protest.
That's correct. 20 points for Jeff Gerstmann.
I don't have any points. I've got some points. I got 10.
You have 10 points.
I got 10
How
points.
negative am I at this point, Ryan? We got to check in the scores.
You definitely have the most scribbles.
Okay, that's good.
On the board.
Let's see here. Dave has 10 points. Jeff currently has 35 points. The math is too complicated on, let's see here.
You really need to understand linear algebra to figure it out.
It's a lot of string algebra.
You studied it?
Yeah. I was really bad at math, so it was a very hard class for me.
It is basic for your, it's a lower
my profession
intelligence.
as a writer.
It all goes in a straight line at the end of it
Exactly.
anyway. Yeah.
I like to make the curves. The curves start flat, and then they curve, and then they go up. Or sometimes they start flat and then they curve and then they go down.
So they can go both ways. They can go
both
up or down.
Up or down.
Could they go both at the same time? I mean, is that like an advanced?
You can go down for a little bit and then curve, and then go level.
Right.
I think you can probably make that go up again if you do the math right.
It's when they call it going into the purple.
Yes.
The purple. Okay.
Yeah. When you've got that scattered line that's going everywhere, it's going into the purple.
Well, Will Smith, in a shocking revelation here, I've crunched the numbers. You're currently well in the lead with 74 points.
It's fantastic.
So we'll see how that shakes out with our next caller. I believe we have Rita from Glasgow. Or Glasgow.
Oh, the Show Me State.
We could say it that way as well. Yes, the Show Me State. Our neighbors to the north. Rita, what is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
Report, and I need to know who Catherine of Braganza was.
Can you say that one more time?
I'm doing a Portuguese history report, and I need to know who Catherine of Braganza was.
You're cutting out again. Can you give us
Catherine
of Braganza. I need to know who she was.
And funny enough, she wasn't Portuguese at all.
Yeah, no.
Really?
Figures heavily into Portuguese history through a lot of their periods.
She was a native of South America when Pizarro came to the new land. He came over and met Catherine. She was
Pizarro?
Yeah, Pizarro.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, he's a conquistador. Wore
funny hats.
Yeah, very fun hat. And basically, he had come over and sailed down the Nile. The South American Nile.
Right.
It's one of the only rivers that flows south to north.
That's right.
The Nile 2,
yes.
as it's known.
Yeah,
Nile
the Nile
harder.
2. And, as things happen, she ended up becoming sort of friends, a little too friendly with Pizarro. Her father, Chief Armaduke, was not happy with this. And, of course, Pizarro had to flee the land with all of his gold and took it back to Portugal.
And then didn't she go on to invent the atomic bomb 300 years before the Manhattan Project?
Yes, that is. They don't like to acknowledge that because it was more of a theoretical invention as opposed to the practical implementation of what we know today
tritium,
as
basically.
an atomic bomb. Yeah, basically. But she came up with the original kind of concept for here's how we're going to kind of split the atom. Here's what it's going to do. Here's how it's going to detonate this, and basically went from there.
it wouldn't have happened unless she had figured out time travel all those years back and could basically leap between worlds. And I think that's probably if we're going to talk about anything, it's the time travel.
And we're talking about Catherine in as she relates to like this current timeline. Again, like more disambiguation. We can't really speak to all timelines at once.
That'd be
because
going
there is
into
an
the
infinite
purple.
number of them, and we don't want to take it into the purple here. It's really talking about kind of the current timeline and where she's going to go from here.
The interesting thing is that she was popularized in American TV in the late 80s, early 90s as the evil leaper in Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
So
all based on her.
Yeah.
All based on her.
It's all true.
Yeah.
True
It's
story.
awesome.
Great.
So there you go, Rita. There are your answers. Feel free to include all of those and cite us as references in your book report.
Hopefully I'll get an A.
I don't think
I
there's any
think
doubt
you're
about it.
guaranteed.
Absolutely, we guarantee it, or your money back.
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you very much for the call, Rita. And,
Thanks very much, guys.
If you're from anywhere in the world, Glasgow or Indiana, apparently.
The Show Me State, I believe.
Yeah.
Or the Show Me State. Please give us a call, 415-508-3975.
In Glasgow, the way that they got that name was people would show up at your door and they'd say glass go.
Right.
Because it's time to go drinking.
Yeah, well, it was and it was also a recycling effort.
Well,
that
the culture was built around you would go out to pubs and they wouldn't have enough glasses. So it'd be like it was sort of
get your
glass,
yeah.
go and glass go, and then that just kind of they ended up renaming their entire spot to that. The old name, unfortunately, is not pronounceable with human tongues.
Well, too many teeth.
Yeah.
Need less teeth, to be able to get the correct list.
Knock a few
that.
out and you can do it, but there's really unless you're reenacting like historical moments, there's really no need to do that.
It's a dead language.
It's dead language. No need for it. Glasgow works just as well as any of them.
City state or sister city with Scandinavia.
Really? Yeah. Fascinating. Prior to the burning or post?
It was prior because they also had a large metallurgy department, and so there were two scientists in between them. I think it was John Duchess and this woman, one of the first women metallurgists, Cynthia Rockwell. She was in Scandinavia.
Norman Rockwell's goddaughter.
Of course,
Right.
yeah. She's featured in all the paintings. Beautiful. And they worked.
She's usually the model for the old man in most Norman Rockwell.
Oh, okay. That sounds right.
But she in real life is beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
But journals, anyway, back and forth journals, as most scientific things do. They'd write it in code so that you couldn't actually read it. But that way, if somebody tried to steal your work, you could get the code, scramble it back up, and then
lemon juice.
Yes.
On the paper.
Yeah.
You burn the paper to see the words.
More wisdom like
Simple
this.
science.
And then it was, so they take a tic-tac-toe board, right? And then they put that's the upper, if you go like that, it's A, the other one is B, and then from there it's C, and then you put dots in it. There's more, and then two dots, you go through again, and then eventually all the letters are
It's a simple Rot
representative.
13 cipher.
Exactly.
Applied to a tic-tac-toe board, and then cross-multiplied with
it's how the board game Who's There
Precisely.
was invented.
Who's where?
We have Adam from Long Island, New York. Adam, are you there?
Yeah.
Did I get your pronunciation of your name correctly? Is that Adam? Adam?
Yes.
Adam, what's your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
I was just personally wondering, what was the birthday, general biography, and possibly death day of the lead singer of Air Supply?
Lead singer of Air Supply, Will Smith. This clearly falls into your wheelhouse. Date of birth, date of death, general biography. Go ahead.
Date of birth was January 2nd, 2002. Actually born after the band's formation, sent back through a wormhole as a young infant, picked up on the doorstop of a nunnery convent, I believe is what you people might call them, and followed an amazing path through became a nun for a little while. Johnson Rumpelstiltskin was his name.
Yep.
And then died 45 years before he was born. not through backwards living time, but another freak wormhole accident with a coffee maker and an immersion blender.
And an unfortunate side effect of that is as a result of the wormhole, he now dies once a year, every August 17th. That he kind of spits out of the wormhole, burned, blind, and dying, and then
Supply
dies
day.
right there.
Yeah.
Air supply day
Yeah,
is what we
supply
now
day.
know
Yeah.
as yes.
But both his
What's-
father and his own mother. It's an amazing. I don't know how that works exactly, but science.
It's why we have the fireworks.
Yeah.
On the 4th of July.
Right.
Air
Many
supply
people
day.
think when you say sup that you're saying, what's up. You're not. You're actually, it's a reference to Air Supply.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's
It's-
they were
you're
called
honoring the memory
suppers.
of the lead singer of Air Supply.
If you're a fan of Air Supply, you're a supper.
Sup.
Johnson Rumpelstiltskin, you
yeah.
mean?
Acknowledging
They would
shared
often say
appreciation.
that, as a way to say, hey, look out, the wormhole might open near
Yeah.
you, and then
So-
you've got this burning tusk of a person launching at you, and no one wants that.
It was actually
Horrible.
a call to look around.
Yeah.
But it's
More
good
than
luck.
anything.
It's
Yeah.
good luck if
It
you
is-
get
it
hit
is
by the
good
burning
luck
corpse.
if you get hit by the burning corpse of Johnson Rumpelstiltskin. It's really just nothing can go bad for you from that point. I think legally you become the front man of an Air Supply cover band.
One good year.
At least for 1 year.
Yeah. You get one good year.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think that's a pretty comprehensive answer to your question, Adam. Thanks so much for calling.
That's all I could ask for.
And what else could you ask for? How about more answers? 415-508-3975. Give us a call. We'll say some words.
That's right. We will answer any and all questions.
It's a full pool of knowledge.
That's right.
It's all over the place.
I'm hearing that Jimmy Wales is still like 10 minutes out. Traffic is murder outside because of the rampant SOPA, PIPA related looting that's happening in the streets of San Francisco right now.
People are stealing encyclopedias left and right out there, Ryan.
They don't know what to do. They're lost and blind without being able to look up this information that they so desperately need on Wikipedia, and it has turned to violence in the streets.
The voice actors for GPS machines I've heard right now are on
Yoda?
strike. So there's
So
there's
Frank
no way
Oz,
to
Mr.
get
T,
there's no way to get
Kurt
directions.
Schilling, William Shatner,
James Earl Jones,
James Earl Jones,
Chewbacca.
We're not talking about fictional people.
Chewbacca's a person.
Chewbacca also
He's not a person, he's a
scab.
I checked the Wikipedia a minute ago. He's legit.
That's how I know you're lying, because the Wikipedia is also out right now.
Wikipedia is full on.
We've got another call. We've got Megan from Edinburgh, Scotland.
All right,
Megan,
great.
are you there?
I'm there. Hi.
Megan, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
We are fantastic and
experts,
brimming with knowledge. What is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
Thanks. My question is, why is New York called the Big Apple?
Why is New York called the Big Apple? That's a fantastic question. Dave Snyder.
This it was actually because it was done by a famous sculptor, Benjamin Franklin.
Yes.
Okay.
Most people
Pornographer
didn't
as well.
know.
People didn't know that.
Yeah, one of the first.
kind of a perv.
Sculpted a lot of pornography before getting into kind of city building and more civic minded pursuits.
So back when it was New Amsterdam, he didn't really like the idea.
Okay.
He wasn't big on the Dutch influence, so went back to New York and he carved it out of an apple. So
All of New York.
Not all. No, he carved a early
That's just the
sculpture.
myth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's just the myth.
And so there's an original skyline.
Okay.
It included, weirdly enough, didn't include the Twin Towers, which a lot of conspiracy theorists later took upon.
Yeah.
But we're not going to go into that stuff.
That's a
He
different
started,
page.
It was just with a paring knife and
Whittled it right
put
out.
In fact, that's why you also call it when a person, sort of is a good person towards the city, you give them the key to the city. Again, that's a Franklinism. You get that by getting the key, obviously,
Well, let's
with
not
electricity.
get too far into Franklinisms,
Yeah.
or we'll be here all day.
I know.
And the key basically just would insert right into the apple, and there was a mechanism that he had carved into this apple that the apple would kind of open up, and you would get a look at this just majestic skyline, and that's the real reason. I know there's a lot of rumors about there being a actual giant physical real apple that they built this city on top of, that's from some tree. Who knows how big this tree had to be. That's poppycock and nonsense.
Just go to Snopes.
It couldn't.
I mean,
yeah,
come on.
exactly. Just if you can go to Snopes,
It's actually built on a pomegranate,
And
right?
of course,
the pomegranate. Everyone, yeah.
they tried
green
to
pomegranate
to
theory.
preserve this apple for a long time, but it wouldn't take it browned. There eventually became a small worm that burrowed its way through. Funnily enough, this became the inspiration for the subway system in New York, the original transit system
And that's why
in America.
that's why they call the Midtown area Wormville, is my understanding as well.
Yeah, it's become sort of a
Wormtown.
hipster refuge at this point. You know, a lot of good bands come out of there, but
dudes wearing scarves and tight jeans.
Yeah.
Again, a look originally pioneered by Ben Franklin. So there's the answer: Ben Franklin, Apple sculptures, and hipsters. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
Just the knowledge, the information. It's gushing out of us like we are a violent head wound.
It's great to get it out. You know, a lot of this knowledge, it's the sort of thing that you keep it bottled up. Eventually, it's
You'll
gonna
hemorrhage.
Yeah, it's gonna hemorrhage out of you at kind of the worst possible moment. So just being able to get it out there like this, it's really been great.
I know I've woken up in the mornings just covered in knowledge.
Ugh.
Just
So
the sheets soaked in it. Which is not as pleasant.
You have to burn those sheets
as it sounds, and that's hard because knowledge is moist,
very wet.
Well, sheet burning is also a crime in
only in
at least-
Petaluma.
Yeah, Petaluma.
Yeah, Petaluma. We stick to the old
Surrounding
ways
areas.
up there, so it's there's a lot of sheet related activity that we don't like to really
Halloween
stick
time.
with. But Halloween
Togas
time is
everywhere?
just a mess.
Yeah.
It's just nonstop toga parties, and you know everyone's like, "Look at me, I'm a ghost," and it's like it's just not a good costume.
I don't believe that person's a ghost at all.
No, I don't either. It's clearly a sheet.
415-508-3975.
Eye holes in the sheet, or do you look through the sheet?
Again, you're not allowed to cut or like that's like.
Oh,
yeah,
right, no maiming of the sheet.
The holes have to be naturally worn through, so that's.
Yeah,
I think that there are some people out there kind of, taking like a sharp rock and rubbing it on spots in the sheets.
Sometimes
and just, whoops, it penetrated the sheet. I don't know.
You call it the spirit of the sheet.
Yeah.
Flannel, or the regulations about flannel versus silk versus traditional
Flannel
cotton?
sheets,
100% cotton sheets only.
Yeah, they have set up the checkpoints
Egyptian.
around the city, basically, and it's a sheet check, sort of like when you enter California,
Okay.
they want to make sure you're not bringing fruit back in.
We brought oranges.
See,
from Vegas. They were cool with it. I said, "Hey, we have oranges here," and they said that. So I drive along.
Man,
We have
I know.
another caller,
That's
gentlemen.
ridiculous.
Panel of experts, stay sharp. We have Jared. Jared is on the line. Are you there, sir?
I am indeed, Ryan.
Jared, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Dublin, Ireland.
Why?
Because, well, I have a very important Warhammer 40,000 game coming up in a couple of days. And without Wikipedia, I can't answer this lore question.
God, I love your voice. Just keep talking.
Oh, I will, thank you. The question is, as we all know, the Emperor created 20 sons, the godlike Primarchs. One of them was Horus, who betrayed him to the forces of chaos.
The Horus
and two
heresy.
of them are unknown. So, who were the other 17 Primarchs?
17 Primax, other than the two known in the Warhammer 40k mythos. I believe it's Tito. It's Johann.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's well, let's say there's Johann, and then there's Johann 2.
There's Johann 2, but there's also Johann the Second and Johann 2 the Second.
I'm not sure they count. It's
There's
still that's a
Gilligan,
Siamese
Sparky,
twin.
Yeah.
Nesmith,
they're the same.
Frankenberry,
Frankensmith. So that's 10.
I thought Frankenberry and Frankensmith were the same guy, just changed names. After
Well,
the
it's
Horus
like
Heresy.
two of the Primac. Two went into him, and there's like a constant like mental battle between the two spirits inside of him.
Did I say Sparky already?
It's pretty hard to get out there. Benjamin Franklin, of course.
Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin was the only one who could actually wear the shoulder pads of Gildathorn.
Yeah.
Anyone
else they'd just burn.
Yeah, because that's what you need to become the emperor at the end, and when the end of time comes. And
Erasmus, I think, is one.
Erasmus.
Yes.
There's only one Emperor, Dave.
Well, I know, but he's currently wearing the shoulder pads now, and Ben Franklin's the only one who he snuck a try and tried to actually put them on. That made him emperor for a day. Nobody knew it. It's not very well documented. Again, if you had a source to look these things up, you'd be able to find them.
Yeah, complete lists everywhere.
Right? Not. It really depends upon the color scheme too of the shoulder pads.
Absolutely.
So,
There's nothing about this on the Wikipedia, guys.
Yeah,
Jared, could you just say some more words?
Pancakes. Say waffles.
Waffles.
Nah. Just
Was Brillick and the slimy toves, the gyre and gimbal in the wave. All mimsy were the barrow groves and the mum rots outbrave. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird and shun the frumiest bandersnatch.
It's the kind of skill you drink on a lot, I would guess.
I think he just activated a terrorist cell.
I was going to say, I think we've just been cursed, gentlemen. So Jared, we're going to have to cut off this call at this point. Thank you so much for that. Hopefully, we've answered your question correctly.
No problem, folks. Have a nice day.
You too.
If I had an option, I would genetically engineer my children to all sound like that.
You could just move there, probably.
I don't think it would have the same effect.
You'd have to not talk to them ever.
I'd have to like ship them off there.
Yeah.
And
Send
then
them to
never
an
talk to
orphanage
them
in Ireland to be raised by nuns.
And then bring them back from Ireland.
Right.
And then just listen to them talk all day.
And they'd be like, who the fuck are you?
I'm like, I'm your dad, talk all crazy.
Yeah.
Keep talking all crazy.
Here, just put the TV on closed caption. Just have them read the captions to you in different voices.
Oh my God, all
day
TV,
long.
like Irished? How much better would that be?
A lot
just
better.
A channel,
A lot better.
A channel that's just TV shows you already know, but everyone redubbed in Irish. You don't need to have exotic accents to give us a call. 415-508-3975.
It was Cool Modie's dream. That's why he wanted to move to Dublin.
Yeah, there's a lot of Irish rap that he felt that he could kind of be at the forefront of a movement.
Dublin, California?
Over there. Yeah, Dublin, California. Home of laser tag.
Yes, that's true.
And Worlds of Wonder?
No,
Or Wowie.
pre-brand.
Yeah.
Just the conceptual beginnings of laser tag. Lasers, in fact.
Yeah, and Photon on the East Coast. That was more of an East Coast
Some
thing.
East Coast Photon.
I grew up in
the
Maryland.
helmet.
Yeah, that was
the
definitely
helmet and the pack
Baltimore,
and all
Baltimore
that sort
bred.
of stuff. Yeah.
The foam, the light padded foam vest that you could strap on. And then,
We also wore helmets. You know,
I had a beanie. I didn't have the helmet.
a little bit more
Safety
practice.
minded.
Photon was helmets. Photon was a full pack.
What was the thing that you could shoot the TV?
Captain Power?
Was that Captain Power?
Yes. And that worked because they had two flickering color schemes. One was you get points for shooting this. One is you lose points for looking at this. And, you would have to watch and steer the ship away when the bad things were on screen and then steer it back when it was on and shoot the good stuff.
21st century technology brought to us today.
Yeah.
They're using light waves.
Light is the future.
Yeah,
It's the
light.
future of electricity.
Yeah.
What
Light
can you
peak
do with light
technology
waves?
actually is derived from.
Well, it is slower than sound.
So just a little bit, though.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
3 times 10 to the 8th.
I mean, everybody knows that
millimeters
because
per,
in the
per
engineering
long.
cave, I can hear you guys,
Yeah.
but I can't see you.
Right.
No.
No. It just takes a little bit too long to actually get.
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
To
The workday is
Yeah.
only
Dissipates.
8
Passing
hours
through the
maximum.
ether.
Sometimes
So
it could be hours.
Yeah.
And that's why we have daylight savings.
Clearly.
More calls, please. 415-508-3975. We have a full panel of experts here waiting, ready, and willing, and able to give you the answers that you need while your usual sources are currently on strike due to the SOPA PIPA protests that are sweeping the internet.
I really want to know how the Reddit outage is affecting people. I do you think productivity at work is skyrocketing, or do you think Reddit being out and Wikipedia being out are canceling each other out right now? It's a net zero change.
I think a lot of it's, there's a real drop in pictures of cats to be viewed,
Okay.
which is why we've, provided kind of a constant here.
Large cat, majestic.
Yeah.
I wonder if when we return there will even be memes anymore, or or if after that, after this break like this, if they'll just be gone.
I can't remember anything post Hamster Dance.
That was the last. That was the last.
That's
one.
the last thing I remember now.
that-
It's all gone.
There was the dancing banana, and then I don't know.
Was
what
that
happened.
peanut butter
the
jelly
peanut butter
time,
jelly
right?
time?
There's the mushrooms.
Mushroom.
I don't know. What's a mushroom?
Snake.
Uh-huh.
It's a snake.
The badger.
Yeah, badger mushroom.
I've got nothing.
You can't remember that
I
one.
can't. It's gone. I need a repository for
No.
this information. I want to ask people anything, but I don't have a venue for that.
Well, we're just have to allow them
we
to
do
ask
have
us
the,
anything.
yeah, we do have the experts. You could ask.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, if you have a
But
question, we
again,
could answer your questions.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't know.
It's doing good.
I declined to answer.
I don't know. I don't know how the next week or so will go, but I feel all right.
Okay.
What do you guys think Jimmy Whale's like in real life?
I think he's like a high-fiving bro.
Yeah.
Like, just like throwing it out at parties. I think
Personal
he's got
appeals left and
he's
right.
got
Kazi,
yeah,
Matt Kazi.
just like a martini in like each
a
one of
personal
his
appeal for a
free
high five
hands,
coming your way?
Yeah.
You think he's a real like loose tie kind of guy?
Oh yeah.
I think he's a
T-shirt,
golf
corporate
shirt.
T-shirt over the suit.
Always a good look. Always a good look.
Wherever he walks in the room.
The party comes with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I aspire to be that way someday.
Have a drink cart in your office. Have an office.
Yeah.
An office.
Yeah, and a drink cart. The drink cart's the best part of having the office. I learned that from Mad Men.
All right, guys, we
with
have Alex
offices.
from Germany on the line with a question. Alex, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
I wanted to ask some T-Pain. T-Pain has a lot of collaborators with him.
Yeah.
During his career, and I just wanted to know all of them. I want to know all the collaborators.
Everyone that T-Pain has worked with.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Well, geez, I mean,
only so many hours in the day.
Started with Cher. We can start with. Let's just start in order of relevance.
Okay, so we got Sonny and Cher.
Dirk Benedict.
Dirk Benedict. Jimmy Wales.
Yeah, Jimmy Wales.
Dick Van Dyke.
So Dick Van Dyke, Betty White.
The KLF.
Yep, the KLF.
Yeah.
Joe Zuzu.
Joe Zuzu.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's a
Actually,
spin-off.
A photo of Flavor Flav.
This is
Really?
Yeah, not the actual Flavor Flav. It was a photo that did a guest verse on a song.
They scientifically, with a microscope, took out the sound waves out of the picture.
Yeah.
So they looked at his
re-recorded
face.
it.
When they talk about being able to
Interesting.
see sound,
Yeah.
when people talk about that, it's actually totally possible.
I thought it was just Synthenasia.
Yeah, no, that's
it has nothing to do with Asia.
Yeah,
Synthenasia is
This
actually my favorite
is-
J-pop band.
Kind of. It's entirely coincidental, but literally every single person that we've mentioned so far today has been a collaborator with T-Pain.
Yeah.
So consider all those as
All
well
those,
as
of
the
course.
picture of
Judy Garland.
of
Wink
Flav
Martindale.
Flav, Wink
They did a
Martindale.
whole album together, and that was huge stuff.
Frank Zappa did that thing back in the day.
Right.
20 years before
Little
T-Pain
Well,
weird.
that was
born.
just
Yeah, another
T-Pain
wormhole.
played bass on that. It wasn't even necessarily T-Pain doing
Yeah.
what T-Pain does now. I mean, the versatility of T-Pain, I think,
Yeah.
is something that a lot of people overlook. And people look for his vocal collaborations, but there's a lot of stuff back from before he was really known as a
It's off
vocalist.
that hit album Against the Nile 2.
Yeah.
Not a sequel, the Nile 2.
It's about the
No,
Nile
the
2
Nile
in
2,
South
yeah,
America.
yeah.
It's a big hit. Big hit.
Billy Barty, they did kind of a tall man, short man sort of thing. That was like a vaudeville act less than an actual album, but they did collaborate on that.
Etta James's left leg.
Many people don't believe it, but Charlie Chaplin.
Well, they collaborated on inventing the tuna fish sandwich, the modern tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, that's the yes.
Toasted or not
Not
toasted?
the old world. Let me
Toasters
finish.
weren't
Not
invented.
the old world, obviously,
Oh,
is
okay.
toasted. That was one of the big differentiations. All those and many more. So again, I don't think we have the time to list every single T-Pain collaborator, but that should at least get you started.
Oh yeah, really, it does. Thank you very much.
Great.
Dr.
Fantastic.
Stern.
problem.
Thank you for your call, Alex from Germany. Didn't sound German.
Who
No, he
invented,
sounded very German.
who invented toast? Ryan Davis? Who invented toast?
The Germans,
Germans. Fascinating.
Yeah.
obviously.
Toastenhausen is what they used to call it, and then it had to once they kind of got around the world, people started coming up with their own names for it because that's who says that.
Toastenhausen, too many syllables.
Yeah, that doesn't even. It's you just sound
Casper
drunk. When you
Ferdinand.
sound drunk when you
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
Please give us a call. 415-508-3975. Whiskey Media panel of experts is here, ready and willing to answer your questions about literally anything.
French toast, also not French.
No, no.
It's
No,
German.
no, it's not
Really?
French.
Yeah.
And so the actual, what we now know as French toast was the Toastenhausen, and then modern toast,
Batter, vanilla.
right?
There's
Modern
actually-
toast invented by Tom
Yeah.
Cruise.
It was a deep fry. The original one, the German way, was a deep fry. You'd actually
In
throw
a
it
basket
in a
or
fryer.
just chuck it into a vat of oil, then fish it out with your bare hands.
It was basked.
Okay.
And I think it was like
Well,
like
it was
ostrich eggs or something like that.
Well, they were using
Something weird.
they were using the Basque technique
Yeah.
with the basket. That's actually where the word basket comes from.
Oh,
is-
Jonathan
is
Basque.
Tiny Basque.
Yes, the Basque Masters.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
I've heard of the Basque
Not
Masters.
hurting.
a lot of great outdoor channel.
Sheep everywhere,
Yeah.
as far as the eye can
oh,
see.
yeah, yeah.
Whiskey Media on Skype, if that is your preferred method of hurling your voice across the globe. Which I guess Skype is still letting people do that. They have not blacked anyone out.
It's Microsoft now
Yet, so
Microsoft loves
They're too
piracy,
small.
hates
I told
freedom.
you they're too small.
Oh, okay.
We've gotten
Okay.
too small for it. Used to be a much better company. Back before the Pear Corporation.
Oh, how are we doing on points here?
You gonna tally this up?
I've lost track.
That's
your only
literally
role.
your one job was to keep track of this stuff.
I know, and I've blown it on that. Well, Jimmy Wales not showing up, it really kind of distracted me. He's Jimmy Wales
Can we
will
make
not
a
be
personal
showing
appeal
up.
to his cab driver?
To just drive faster.
Jimmy Wales is cab driver. This is a personal appeal to please get Jimmy Wales here.
I think we're.
Oh, you mean Quincy Jones?
Yeah, Quincy Jones.
Yeah, Quincy.
No, not Quincy. Quincy, of course, was the Jack Klugman medical examiner show.
Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
C. Dot. Yeah.
We have Viv from the UK. Vivian.
How you doing, Ryan?
Quite well. How are you today, sir?
Yes, I'm well. And I'm quite happy that you did something on UK time, because when I asked you on Twitter last week, you told me to fuck off.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
What
I
is
get
your
that a
question
lot.
for
Yeah.
the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
Yeah, I was wondering whether someone can explain Swatch Internet Time, because I think there's an expert on the panel that knows a lot about this.
Will Smith, go ahead. Swatch Internet Time, go.
So Swatch Internet Time is a universal time format designed to work irrelevant of time zones. And I believe it's based on the idea that there are 3,600 seconds in a day. 3,600 seconds in an hour. And it's straight seconds all the way out. So like 10,200 beats is like 1:30 in the morning in Swiss time, in Switzerland. Central European, Scandinavian time zones, exactly. And then you go left from there. So each time zone left is, I believe, roughly 3,600 beats ahead. And there you go.
Until you run out of time zones.
Well, then it's back to zero again.
Yeah.
It just loops around.
Yeah.
It's like an Ouroboros.
But if you still have time zones, what problem is it defeating?
Well, the big problem with a lot of this stuff is that everyone felt that watches weren't covering enough of their wrist. Watches traditionally kind of this long because
It's why I
time was
don't
only
wear a
this
watch.
long. It's why no one wears a watch.
Like Android phones, people want bigger watches.
Yeah, so the idea was that by making the number longer, you could then cover more of a wrist with a watch, which is useful if you have an unsightly mark on one of your wrists. You can then get this longer watch.
Yeah, I don't like people to see my. I tried covering it up with tattoos.
That was a special day for you.
Yeah.
So you end up with a watch that is minimum probably about I don't know. Let's see here, 3 feet long here.
Yeah,
that's
like 7
something like
quadrupeds.
that. And this is really useful as not only as fashion, but also from a precision perspective. You can really get a good look. You don't have to go like this to tell the time. You can see it from out here.
The other interesting thing about Swatch Internet Time was the goal was to actually market time, something that's existed for roughly 14 billion years. And in a way that
Since the beginning of time.
Since the
Literally,
beginning, since the
there's
Big
been
Bang.
time.
And they wanted to brand time in a way that UTC and Greenwich Mean and Eastern Standard, they don't really sell the fact that you should buy a plastic watch from Switzerland that it has funny colors and probably no numbers on the face.
What's the conversion rate for Swatch Internet Time to bitcoins?
$20, same as in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Viv, hopefully that answers your questions. Comprehensive information about Swatch Internet Time.
Yeah, I never thought about it, but they both Swatch Internet Time and Bitcoins had the same ad sponsor. It was Brett Favre.
Oh, okay.
He was,
well,
and it was like right around he was
he's a big time
retiring or
advocate.
not retiring, and that was the whole deal. It was all about
needed
oh,
more
does he have enough
time?
time?
Yeah.
I mean, all that kind of
he
stuff.
loves time.
Yeah.
Loves drugs.
Yeah.
Loves San Francisco sandwiches. So it's it's kind of a perfect fit. It actually is built around his needs. I think he went to them and said, "Hey, I really like your product.
I'd like to get away from the cheese stuff. I'm sure that had to be a big concern.
Yeah, they don't put cheese on
Brett
San Francisco
Favre has
sandwiches.
never actually been to Wisconsin. It's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Wow. Fascinating.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. 415-508-3975 is the phone number. That's short for telephone, for telecommunications. Give us a call. Or if you're on Skype, I don't know what that's short for, Whiskey Media is the username.
Brad Pitt invented the telephone. I didn't know if you guys knew that, but I something I learned the other day reading People magazine.
Some people believe that. Other people believe it was a Italian worksmith named Macarelli or something.
Giuseppe
along those
Macaroni?
lines. Yeah. No, not Macaroni. Macarelli.
Oh, Macarelli. Oh, sorry, Macaroni.
Yeah.
I mistook. He invented Brad.
He also worked with T-Pain.
Okay.
You know, one of the guys.
The telephone.
He's kind of hung around.
It's safe to assume that anyone that gets mentioned here today, going forward, has collaborated with T-Pain in some capacity or another.
Yes. Barack Obama.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Or Jesus, as his friends call him.
Marcus from Sweden is on the line with a burning question deep in his soul. Marcus.
Yeah, hi.
Marcus, what is your question for the Whiskey Media expert of panels?
Who stole my bike?
Who stole Marcus's bike? Was it you, Dave?
I'm going to go find it.
All right, Dave's going to go find your bike. Marcus, hold on a second.
All right.
Well,
Thank
actually,
you.
that wasn't...
I think it was Dave. If Dave knows where the bike is and Marcus's bike is missing, Dave stole the bike.
We weren't really looking to recover Marcus's bike.
Marcus, are you interested in recovering your stolen bike?
So much as you just want to know who did it for, I imagine, revenge purposes?
Tax stuff.
write-offs? I don't
Yeah.
think they have taxes in Norway.
Norwegian tax forms are all about, it's not about the numbers, it's about the people.
How many herrings?
Because they're a friendly culture, so they're interested.
What's the number of bikes
I think
you
these
have?
were Sweden, though, so Norwegian tax forms wouldn't be relevant.
See, that's a lot of, it's a common mistake a lot of people make, but they're actually,
Okay.
the tax laws are...
Oh, hey, there's a bike.
Marcus, we found your bike.
Is this your bike? I found
Oh, thank God.
All right, so
I'll ship it. I'll ship it back.
Dave's going to ship the bike back to you, Marcus.
It's nice of you after you stole it,
There's
Dave.
lots of wires here.
Yeah, it's a bad idea to bring a bike
I didn't really
back here.
answer the question of who stole your bike,
It
but
was
we
Dave.
found your bike.
Dave knows where the bike is.
Oh, yeah,
Dave
Dave
must have
stole your
stolen the
bike.
bike.
Stole his bike.
Yeah.
Figures.
Pretty clearly.
So
Lock
I
it
guess,
up next time. I mean,
Sherlock Holmes that shit.
I mean, it's not a bike lock's not that expensive. You don't even need to get one of those crazy kryptonite ones. Just a regular old.
Just get one that looks tough.
Yeah.
Get some kite string and just tie it up real good.
Get a
And
lot of
then-
twist ties
yeah.
and then tie them end to end, and
It's a
then
good
wrap
idea.
those around the bike, and you'll be
Also,
just
keep
fine.
me away from your bikes because
keep
I
Dave
thought
away
I
from
could
bikes.
trust you, man.
Yeah.
Making that
Well,
Twitter account for your bike,
that
where
was
my
your
bike's
first
at
mistake.
unlocked.
Yeah.
Bad idea, it turns out.
So congratulations, Mazel Tov, Marcus,
Thank you.
for your new bike. Do you have questions about bikes? Do you want to know the origins of the 10-speed? Give us a call, 415-508-3975. All sorts of transit-related expertise
Yeah, I mean,
at your disposal
they
at this
weren't
table.
going to, they had 3-speed bikes and they thought that was enough, and then 10-speed and brown shoe came out and they thought, well, this is 10 speeds. Who would do that? I guess we could do it, and it was all actually a marketing campaign to tie back into that. Yeah. And it's
well, the name came first.
Yeah.
The name came first. They didn't even know if 10 speeds were possible.
It was all theoretical.
I mean,
yeah.
it's
10
10 Speed and Brown Shoe is a sci-fi show.
Yeah,
it's sort of
up until that, speeds had to work in threes, so they were like, well, can we do like a 12
Like
speed?
12,
Like,
like
well,
9 to 12,
we
we need
can't,
10.
but we think we have an idea about how that works. And someone said, well, we need to do 10.
Well, not someone. It was Benjamin Franklin. He came in and I think he got the idea. He was looking at a clock face and there were 12.
Yeah.
And 2 was his lucky number. He subtracted 2.
Right, kept 2 for himself. That's why his
kept them in
popular
his pocket.
slogan is like, "I'm keeping these 2 for me, old Benny."
That's the 2. My 2 cents. That's what that.
These 2 are mine.
That's what that the origin of
That's
that
what
turn of phrase.
E pluribus numinum means. These 2 are mine.
Yeah. Fun facts. And
Fascinating.
Yeah.
all modern sitcoms are actually derived from 10 Speed and Brown Shoe.
It's the 2-camera format.
Ask Steven Soderbergh. You know, he was a big guy that he was sort of a throwback.
He was always an extra on the
went back
A-Team,
to
it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Always in the background.
Yeah.
Always there.
Almost every episode.
Henchman number 3.
Yeah, it was
is
a
what
lot
he
of
was usually credited
launching
as.
off the explosion platforms
right.
and
Yeah.
going.
Flying into airbags.
Yeah.
Airbags were always off camera, so it looked like he was just falling to his doom. But back next week,
Weird.
relatively unharmed.
He made it. This time he's got
kind
a
of a
mustache.
big beard. Yeah.
Corey is on the line. Corey, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Corey, where are you calling us from?
Orlando, Florida.
Beautiful.
So I'm plus 3 hours from you guys. So
Yeah.
it's getting close to dinner time, and I'm getting hungry, but I can't get on Wikipedia. So I'm hoping you guys can help me with as many of the following as possible: the ingredients, the preparation, and the history of bolognese.
I don't know. I have no fucking idea what he's talking
I'm
about.
going to the Wikipedia.
I don't know.
Oh,
what,
goodness.
What's
It's a traditional
Wait, can you?
Wookiee
It's,
pasta.
could you? It was all just pops and clicks over here. Can
no,
you say
bolognese.
Can you
He's
say that
talking
again?
about it's bologna. It's mashed up bologna.
Bologna and mayonnaise. It's bologna and mayonnaise.
Well, yeah, close to that. But it came over because it started in the French countryside of Boulogne.
Okay. Yeah.
But then it, of course, got Americanized with. That's when the mayonnaise got involved. And so the bologna and the mayonnaise got.
You may know it as Hellman's east of the Rockies. That's.
That sounds familiar.
All right, so that's one. We got one. What do you got the next one?
But yeah, no, I was asking not
how to
only
prepare
that,
it.
but yeah,
okay.
the ingredients is good. Yeah, the preparation and the history.
You want to get some Jimmy Dean sausage patties, not links.
Yeah.
It's
a tube.
Yeah, it's a tube. You want to chop that up, basically. Like half a finger length. You want to get those things down, and you want to lay those across a pan. Turn that pan all the way up.
Tomato
as
paste.
high as you can get. Yeah. Then once that's nice and hot, pour the tomato paste on there. Now, some people say to stir it. I say that's fucking crazy. Do not stir it.
Burn on the bottom raw on top?
You want to burn on the bottom raw on top. No
Okay.
flipping. No, none of that. And then you layer that with a thin film of the mayonnaise. Let that sit for about an hour and a half, and then go back and add another, let's say, 2 fingers of mayo to the top of this. Basically, by the time you're done, it should look like one of those kind of nacho platters where they're building like a 7-layer dip or something like that. Is sort of how you want it to look, with the mayonnaise on top, then the thin layer of mayonnaise, then the tomato paste, and then the sausage patties. You're going to get some olives and pepperoni on top of that. Put that on top, garnish, and then from there, you are going to try to slide it out of the pan. After letting that cook again on high for another 45 minutes, slide that out of the pan directly onto a plate. Let it cool for about 45 minutes, and then you're most of the way there. You're pretty much done at that.
I mean, that's the slide. That's for presentational purposes.
You can flip too.
You can flip. You can cut it up if you need to. And it takes a little more expertise. If this is,
I've never been a flipper.
If this is Corey's first time, that might be a little more technique.
Make sure you have plenty of cheese forks around.
Yeah. I've got a couple of these steps written down as optional, but I think I'm pretty much taken care of.
Bon appetit, Corey.
Wikipedia
Thank you so much
says,
for
Thanks,
calling.
gentlemen.
Ugnaught pancetta can be added as well to add a little bit of extra flavor.
That's
according to Wikipedia.
That would probably be pretty good.
Yeah. They look like little pigs, but they wear clothes. Who knew?
415-508-3975, the number on your screen. It's also the number that you can call to get perfect answers. Not just the right answers, but perfect answers.
Everything.
On any subject that you can think of. That's why we have Will Smith, Jeff Gershman, and Dave Snyder here as the Wikipedia panel.
Not
of
a lot
experts.
of philatelist-oriented questions so far.
I'm really surprised.
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
The second question was a perfect question. This watch internet time because in hard science fiction, long history of measuring time in megaseconds, which is very confusing to people who are used to days, weeks, months, years.
Well,
Megasecond is
no
roughly
interest in
11
metric
days.
seconds.
I mean, Heinlein used it as a backbone for a lot of his novels.
Well, once you're outside the solar system, years make no sense.
Right. What is a
Completely
year? What is a
arbitrary.
year?
Hell, once you're outside Earth, you go to Venus. A year is a completely different thing.
Right.
Mars, it's much longer.
That's why they frequently refer to Earth years.
Jupiter, it's much, much, much longer.
E-wise.
Jupiter orbits very slowly.
Yeah. Jupiter years.
Jupiter years. Do you know that Jupiter has rings?
How many rings?
Just one.
Just one ring.
Single ring. Very
Did you
small,
know
very
that
faint.
we have a mystery caller from Sweden?
We have another Swedish caller.
Caller!
Hello.
Who is this calling from Sweden?
My name is Ian Lundbom.
That's a fantastic name. I'm not going to try and say it again. What is your question for the Wikimedia panel of experts?
Well, when you have a hangover, as so everyone knows, not only is it confusing for you as you wake up with a pile of weird people in your bed,
Yep.
but your body is also confused and your brain takes away a lot of water. So that is what's causing the pain.
Yes.
So if you hang upside down and pour water into some kind of, like your nose or ear, does that help?
You're Swedish, so remember, he's not going to know everything about this, Jeff, before you start. Just remember that.
Just the cultural differences.
Cultural differences.
It's all about herrings.
That is one way to go. You can do that, and that's one of those like old wives' tale kind of like household remedy situations that gets passed around from mother and father to son and daughter to cure a hangover. But I find actually a better solution to this problem that doesn't involve you hanging upside down, because that takes a lot of dangerous equipment, is you actually can basically, you want to get a pan, you want to turn that pan up as high as it can go. And you want to go get some Jimmy Dean sausage links. And you want to chop these up into...
Not the tube.
No, not the tube. Not patties.
Okay.
That'd be gross.
Sorry, my bad.
Will Smith, negative 50 points.
Yeah, and you want to basically layer these across the bottom of the pan, let it sit for about an hour, then you get some tomato paste and pour it on there. You want to get that for about 5 minutes, and you want to get some mayonnaise, Best Foods, west of the Rockies, put that on there, kind of a thin layer. Let that go for about an hour and a half, and then layer on another 3 inches of mayo on top of that. And you want to let that sit there for 48 hours, 2 full days. And by then, your hangover should have cleared up. It won't be a problem anymore.
Now, do you find this is better complemented by Oreos or Hydrox?
Well, Oreos burn at a much lower temperature, so they're more effective for this than a Hydrox.
East of the Mississippi, you're going to get fresher Oreos, though. Just remember that. So east of the Mississippi, I'd stick with Oreos.
And and any particular hydroxy cut formula that you recommend for this?
Pretty much anyone that you can get. You're going to need to properly distill it, again with the method, with the Dimetap and the cookie sheet, and that whole thing will eventually kind of pan out.
Science.
And go from there.
So that's how you cure hangover.
Yeah.
In Sweden. Thank you.
Sounds simple enough.
Yeah, no, it's pretty straightforward. A child could do it.
Yeah.
Even we'll put this up.
A drunk child.
A drunk Swedish child could do this.
Yeah.
So you should have no problem. Thanks again for your call.
We'd put this recipe up, but Wikipedia is going to be back pretty soon. You guys, they'll know.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think as experts, we want this information to be out there and publicly available. This isn't. We're not trying to hoard this. We're trying to give it away freely.
Yeah,
so I think
for the people.
If you wanted to, once the protest is over and Wikipedia is back online, feel free to take this information and disseminate it back out there to Wikipedia, so that so
translate
they're up to date.
it if you need.
Yeah, translate in multiple languages and feel free to just get the truth out there.
I think we are starting to wind down here, gentlemen. Our time for the Whiskey Media Panel of Experts panel is coming to an end, but we still have time for a few more phone calls. So if you want to try and squeeze in, 415-508-3975 is the number. If you're on Skype, please give us a call. Whiskey Media is the username. Any sort of questions that you have, any topics. Do you want to know the history of Brillo pads? Do you want to know the birth date of Abraham Lincoln's father?
Brillo, South Dakota.
Yeah, that is when and where Abraham Lincoln's father was born.
Comet was originally called kitchen cleanser.
If you want to know, what the current specs for Category 7 cable is, decorative lamps, anything at all, we have the answers for
2
it.
parts platinum, 1 part copper.
Yeah.
And a 55 watt
8 twisted pairs.
Stream.
Yeah.
Different rotation per pair.
Yeah.
So that interference completely cancels each other out.
A child could do it.
There's zinc in the middle of it and a thin copper layer.
Copper.
We've got Linus from Sweden online. The Swedes have questions. They are hungry for knowledge. Linus.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing really good.
You don't sound like you're from Sweden at all.
But I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm another Swedish child wondering, what's the difference between colorblind people and people who see color on a molecular level?
Good versus evil. Pretty straightforward.
Yep, rods, cones.
It's
colorblind people are evil.
rods and cones, and if they don't line up, that's how you can tell someone's evil.
Some people think that you can see into others' souls. I mean, Catholicism had, very dark periods in the 13th century where...
I'll swallow your soul.
Yeah, exactly. People thought colorblind things was a mark of the devil.
Well, left-handed.
Jeff would have been dead back then.
Yeah.
And they were right, but we have, our civil laws are different these days, and we allow them to walk among us.
Thanks, American with Disabilities Act.
Yeah.
Some of them try and make you design websites in different ways. It's a disability. It's something that some people have, and you just got to live
abled,
with them.
Dave, not disability.
Oh, I'm
differently abled.
All right.
Linus, are you currently living with color blindness?
No, sir. I am perfectly color able.
That's right, perfectly. Linus, thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
More genuine information like that can be yours if you give us a call here.
You guys have
the
the filthiest souls I've ever
Did
seen.
you ever have problems like going out on dates and the father was like, "Hey, I heard you're colorblind"? Like, did he ever give you any trouble for it?
No colorblinds in this house.
No, I basically had to wear an eye patch and go through like that'll process and say like, I try and pretend that there was something else going on.
If you could have your eyeballs mechanically removed and replaced with a Geordie LaForge visor,
you lived in
so you
fear.
could see colors. Would you do that?
Yes. How if I could get a Geordie LaForge visor? Period. End of story. Yeah.
With
sure.
no change to vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would become colorblind if it meant that I could have a Geordie LaForge.
Would you gouge your
visor.
own eyes out with a ballpoint pen if you could get a Geordie LaForge visor?
Would I still be able to see?
Okay, why not?
Would I like 20/20 like?
You could see not just normal electromagnetic spectrum. You could see X-rays and infrared as well.
You could see sound.
I already said I'm willing to do this with no change or even with a negative change.
Significant reduction in vision.
I'll go colorblind if it means I get Geordie LaForge visor.
Interesting. We could probably make that happen.
Give me
Chris
the
from
paring knife.
Massachusetts.
Let's get going.
Chris from Massachusetts
Got a
is on the
spoon.
line.
Right.
Chris, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I can see a full spectrum of color here. What is your question for the Whiskey Media panel of experts?
What makes Big the Cat so terrible?
Ooh, this is a fantastic question. What makes Big the Cat so terrible? I'm gonna start this off with everything. Jeff?
Yeah, it's everything. But if you want to get particular about it, it's a lot of the kind of references that inform Big the Cat as a character. A lot of the things that they've taken from throughout world history, American history, the colonial era.
Well, he's primarily based on Hitler.
Yeah,
like that's the character
It's
primary
like,
character
imagine if
reference.
Hitler had Benjamin Franklin's face, so you had that kind of like that great smile, but right behind that smile is just pure unadulterated evil.
Of course.
That's,
Prehensile tail, yes or no?
Yes, definitely. It's multiple prehensile tails.
So there you go.
Great rivalry with Bill the Cat as well.
Yeah.
It's really a shame.
They as brothers, that you'd think that they would be able to get on, but Bill the Cat got all the good genes. Big the Cat got all the bad ones.
It's really the reason for the start of Bloom County.
Yeah.
The Sunday morning comic
striking out
strip
on his
everybody
own, so I'm not
remembers.
going to be tethered to this.
Yeah. Couldn't be tied to
other interactive world. Yeah.
You just gotten too political.
Yeah.
It was tough.
It's understandable. So, sir, hopefully that answers your question.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your call. I think we can probably we can squeeze one or two more in here before the ghost of Jimmy Wales forces us to...
How's he doing on points?
Ghost of Jimmy Wales currently has 0 points.
0 points.
0 points. All right.
Is that ahead of or
Let's see here.
behind
Jeff,
me?
you're in the lead right now, 35. Dave got 10. Let's see here. Will, I got to crunch
He
these
was at
numbers
74
again.
before.
I'd just like to say Baba Booey.
Let's see here. It's negative 15, negative 25.
Who's Baba Booey?
No, I just wanted to say Baba Booey.
Oh.
Baba Booey.
It's not a person.
Baba Booey.
Oh. All right.
Let's see here. Let's see.
Some heavy calculation going down there. It seems like I might need doing some linear algebra to calculate the score.
Linear. Yeah.
16.
He's gone into the purple.
16.
Wow.
That's
better than I thought. I was doing worse than I
I'm
hoped
still
to be.
behind you somehow.
Well,
Figure that
Well,
large.
it's that final stretch. This is where it all, all the marbles.
This last question is worth all the points, I understand.
All the marbles, of course, came as school kids, little kids in New York. They would carry around marbles.
Cat's eyes. Which were
Cat's eyes.
actually
many-
cat's
just marbles,
eyeballs.
right? So you'd have like if you could take the marbles. Some would say, if you just took them in the game, that was fine. But it was actually if you just punched them and ran with the marbles. That was the better strategy, and where the term really came to sort of come from. It was a taking gesture. It wasn't a.
So when
sort
somebody
of a
says
friendly.
you lost your
Yeah.
marbles, what that means is dude walks up,
Yeah.
punches you in the face, grabs your marbles,
exactly.
and sprints.
and you're punching him for all the marbles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One punch to rule them all,
Yes.
to walk away with the prize,
Yeah.
and
that's where Punchy, the Hawaiian Punch mascot, was born.
It's also what Tiny Dancer is about. It turns out.
That's why the end of
Nick
Animal
Nolte
House
did
happened
it
that
for
way.
quite a long time. He and Dustin Hoffman would go out sort of on the streets, and Gene Hackman would be like, "Where'd those two guys go?"
Marbling.
Yeah, they marbling.
Gone marbling.
Yeah, they'd head out on the street.
Do you feel like the great marble shift of 1963 when the rules regarding steelies versus tiger eyes? Do you feel like that was a good move for the sport of marbling, or not so much?
I think it changed the game. It made it too much about like technology.
Okay.
Before it was sort of a skill game.
Yeah.
And then moving toward that sort of steely and all. The
I think you're just discounting. It just became the skills just became different. It's like the old game couldn't be played as well. But
look, guys, you ask anybody from like Scandinavia or Glasgow,
where they follow the traditional rules.
Yeah, no, and they have a very basic knowledge of metallurgy. Like they understand the reason that you don't want to make marbles out of that kind of substance.
Mithril is what the preferred steely is in the northern countries, is my understanding.
Sure.
I just think you guys are just holding to some old tradition that I just don't agree with it.
Take your bouncy core marble and you could go to hell, Jeff Grossman.
If that's how this has to go, then that's how this has to go. But I think professional marbling, the way it is now, has never been better. I think that you can't compare stats from this era to stats of the previous era because obviously the athletes themselves have so many more tools at their disposal, both with the makeup of the marbles themselves.
Well, wind tunnels. Once wind tunnels got involved, the whole thing went to shit.
Wind tunnels and just their performance enhancements that they are allowed to take as part of the professional rules. It's a different game now. It's a different game.
Yeah, Matthew McGillicuddy's book Asterisk sort of describes that really well and sort of goes.
It's
into
the definitive text on the subject matter. I think.
Everybody's gonna walk around. You can't go 2 blocks without quoting McGillicuddy.
My copy is so dog-eared, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the follow-up parenthetical is about the impact of the sport, drug use, the kind of dark side of marbling, and specifically Nick Nolte's fall from marbling grace.
Yeah. Well, that's
pretty well documented at this point. But
gentlemen, we are down to our last call. We've talked to everyone else in the world.
Sweden,
we've talked about everything in the world
and answered all of their questions.
Book reports are getting written tonight.
So it's
such good grades.
Only fitting that we should talk to someone from the world's first country. We have Carl from New Zealand. Carl,
the Show Me State.
All right.
The Ducks.
I think there's actually Samoa comes first.
Carl, go ahead with your question for the Wikimedia panel of experts.
Sorry. I was wanting to know who the 120 politicians from the New Zealand Parliament are.
120 politicians from the New Zealand Parliament.
I can only remember the Prime Minister, John Key, and that's it.
Well, of course, there's John. There's basically
John Locke.
Yeah, there's T-Pain.
There's T-Pain. There's Tupac. There's Biggie. There's Eazy-E. MC Ren. There's Egyptian Lover.
Yeah.
Nora Jones.
Bell, Biv, and DeVoe.
Bell, Biv, and DeVoe.
Wow. And not a lot of people know that. I mean,
Bobby Brown.
DeVoe's
Brown
out selling
Bomber.
cars most of the time, but
let's see here.
Got to pay the bills sometime. Parliament work.
The Big Sheep.
Ralph Tresvant is there.
That's right. Too Short.
Henry Winkler, I think, is
E40.
honorary member. Sergeant at Arms, perhaps.
Sergeant
It's
Pepper.
before he got into producing.
Okay.
Quincy Jones.
Olivia Newton-John Jr.
Quincy Jones.
Olivia
Is that Olivia Newton-John's son?
Yeah.
Ben Franklin.
Okay.
Ben Franklin.
Interesting.
Matthew McGillicuddy.
Of
course, who could forget him?
Founded the Parliament, of course.
Johnson Rumpelstiltskin, I believe, is a member of Parliament as well.
No longer.
No
longer. He is not a part of the 120.
And he was a part-time member for like the last 5 years. So it's really that doesn't really even count.
He famously stood up on the Parliament
Velma,
the Parliament
Louise.
floor.
Don't forget Louise.
Put his sword up and said, "I'll
Tempest
cut you
Bledsoe.
if you come up here. This is my house."
Kurt Russell.
Chester the
always
Cheetos Cheetah.
Shaggy Too Dope.
Shaggy Too Dope.
Oh, that's 100. That's
What is that? Was that
118.
118?
Two more.
G-Unit, I think. Do we get
The G-Unit, but they all count as one.
One vote.
Yeah, they
have to
only get one vote.
Well, of course, there's
And how one of them's dead.
P-Funk and all the members of Parliament.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
The
of
entire Parliament.
So
the mothership.
the
flies
mothership connection,
above.
of course. So, Carl, there you go. Best of luck on whatever report you are writing here today.
Hope you got all
Thank
that.
you very much.
Thank you for your call, and thanks to the rest of the world for your calls and your questions, which we have answered perfectly.
And
here.
also, rest of the world, you're welcome.
Yeah. We're here. We're just men.
We're men who have all the answers.
Yeah,
so
topical use
until
only.
next time, I ask that we're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned. I believe there's going to be a little live talk about M. Night Shyamalan with Screen.com's own Matthew Rory, and I believe Mr. Dave Snyder will be talking about that. That is yet another area of expertise.
Yeah. I know me some Shyamalan.
I believe that will be a Wikipedia premium program, so that'll be for premium members only. So stay tuned for that.
Head over to screened.com.
But I'll be here.
Screened.com.
I will literally.
You're not moving.
I will be here.
You'll have to go somewhere else, but Dave's not going anywhere.
So I'm gonna take
until
that
then,
bike and go home.
Best of wishes with your bikes. We'll see you then.